Scary as hell. That's all I can say. Grab the cat, go downstairs, and start praying, because I've never seen anything like this.
Fear, panic, destruction. It was 1 year ago today. A tornado devastated the community of Dexter. The skies turned gray, the rain turned to hail, and the tornado just appeared out of nowhere.
And that tornado threw cars, destroyed homes, but amazingly did not take any lives. Now, the people in that neighborhood have rebuilt. Today, Sean Lay shows us they're also remembering.
In the hard-hit Huron Farm subdivision, you will see new homes will also experience very raw feelings. This has been a very tough year for so many families here, out of their homes for months, frustration with dealing with insurance companies, and now they're dealing with the anniversary. Take a ride around the streets of this subdivision today, and you'll see new houses. You'll see homes still being worked on. Compare that to exactly 1 year ago. The tornado's destruction in the Huron Farms neighborhood was stunning. Several homes were destroyed. Almost every home in the entire subdivision suffered some kind of damage.
And all of a sudden it just got pitch black, and it was like shrapnel just hitting the side of the walls.
Tom Milbacher, his daughter, and grandkids stayed in a senior center for months while their home was being put back together.
I said, thank you very much that we're back in our house. And the kids have settled down. Things are getting back to normal. It took quite a while. The insurance companies took quite a while to make payments and stuff like that. That's very hard on everybody in the neighborhoods.
One homeowner letting his son do the talking today. He says it's hard for him to talk about being in his basement, hearing his home being ripped apart above him. And then there are the kids still coping.
As you can see is where the tornado kind of came around and demolished this.
9-year-old Jack Potsos shows us his before and after photos of his street, including this photo of himself later asleep and safe holding a teddy bear. Jack's dad says what helped when neighborhood kids made arts and crafts out of tornado debris.
We're opening up, talking about it, and we're taking this debris and turning it into art.
Others are remembering how scary the tornado was, but how not one person was hurt, and how neighbors helped each other clean up and start to rebuild. The sheriff and village president also say people in the entire area are now safer, with 16 new warning sirens in Dexter Township, 26 new sirens overall in Washtenaw County.
You get the realization that these things can happen in your community, but it also showed an example of how a community comes together.
Everybody was paying attention last weekend when the weather warmed up. Kind of an eerie thing in a small way, it warmed up, and you wonder, geez, what's happening?
As for those new warning sirens we told you about, there was a successful test of those sirens just last weekend. In Dexter, Sean Lay, Local 4.
Wow. We spent a month or more last year in Dexter trying to tell the stories of recovery and rebuilding. And you spent a lot of time in Dexter. It's hard to believe it's a year ago, number one.
Feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
It was nearly 80 degrees a year ago. That's one thing where you're like, boy, what a difference today. 40, 50 degrees cooler here today. So the atmosphere was right for those big storms last year. EF3 tornado, 140-mile-an-hour winds. And I was there the day after. And boy, oh boy, I had never seen anything like this in person ever before in my life. We show you a lot of video on TV, but walking the grounds there, seeing house after house just ripped to an unrecognizable state. You saw a lot of kids' stuff all over the neighborhood, too, which is a very scary thought to know how many kids were in this neighborhood. And then you just see the unpredictable wrath of a storm where you get a house that's completely reduced to nothing, yet across the street, barely any damage. Right. And we saw that in some of the damage piles, too, where you'd have thick plastic things that are just ripped apart, and then 2 feet away it's a light bulb that's still intact. And it was a wild, wild scene. But as we've mentioned, an EF3 storm that big, no injuries, no deaths. They were watching Chuck on Local 4, and that storm was moving very, very slow, which is rare, so it gave them time.
Gave people a lot of time.
Yeah. Well, early warning certainly helps. And people in the community who will step up.
Yes.
And that's been the story really in Dexter of this year. LaFontaine Chevrolet, really a big one. They're holding an event 1 year strong to celebrate that community's rebound. The tornado caused some inventory damage there, but even with their own damage to deal with, that family-owned dealership really stepped up to help the families in that community whose homes were damaged or worse, destroyed. They started a Dexter Relief Fund. They closed part of the lot so that the fire department and the Red Cross could work from there, and it really really was a big part of that recovery, and boy, has that community bounced back.
Community came together for sure.
They are strong, so good for you, Dexter. All right, for the second time